Can you hear me? Hang on, is that better? Oh God. Is that a bit better? Yep. I'm not very good at using mics. I've never used them before. I'm used to talking to people, but not over mics, so bear with me. First of all, thank you for turning up this afternoon to hear me gibber on for about 10-15 minutes or so. My name's Carl Patlin James. I'm one of the administrators for Retro Computer Museum. I'd like to also quickly introduce, I've got two of my colleagues here, is Andy with the glasses and Dave. I'll introduce a bit more about Andy in a minute. Okay, so first of all, thank you for coming and welcome to this very prestigious event in a wonderful location, as I'm sure you'll agree. Very good to be here. So myself and other members of Retro Computer Museum, we are really glad to be associated with Bletchley Park this weekend, especially with the TNMOC, the National Computer Museum. I don't know if any of you have been around that yet. We think, as Retro Computer Museum, we can work very closely hand in hand with them, where they seem to concentrate a bit more on the business type of systems. Our aim at Retro Computer Museum is to preserve all of the home-based systems, even though we do have some industry stuff as well. Where did we start? We started about 2 years ago now, originally with Andy and his wife. He had this genius idea of having a website for people with retro interest to come onto. I never actually got to see that website, but I've been told it wasn't very good.
It was terrible.
It was terrible, there you go, for the man himself. A couple of months later, one of his friends, Nick, said, well, I can help you create a new website, new forums, so it'll be a lot more interactive, and that's what really got Retro Computer Museum going. I myself joined Retro Computer Museum, it was about the September time, just under 2 years ago, through a letter on Channel 4 Teletext, and if any of you ever read the Teletext computer bits, a few nods I can see in the audience, that was how I found out about RCM. I've been into computers since I was, well, I've always been quite tall, but you get the impression. Quite lucky growing up. My dad worked for ICL, International Computers Limited, so I got to go into their office, see all their demo stuff, so I've always had that interest in computers. For my sins, I don't know if I'd been a naughty boy that year, my mum and dad bought me an Oric. Not the best computer. God, did I get the mickey ripped out of me at school. That's why I know I spoke to a few of you earlier today, I don't know, I do try and big up the Oric quite a bit. I moved on from Oric to Amstrad, PCs, then I moved into consoles more. And it reached this point about 2 years ago. None of my friends around me now. I moved from Birmingham to Leicester. None of my friends had any interest in retro stuff. And I was very close to just selling everything or giving it away, etc. And I found this letter on Teletext. Thought, that sounds interesting, I'll have a look. I went onto the forum, started chatting away as you do. And if anybody doesn't know our website, www.retrocomputermuseum.co.uk. There's the plug out the way. So I got involved, and then in November we had our first open event. We currently have 2 open events a year we try to do to raise funds, money and awareness. We are based in a little village called Swannington, which is on the outskirts of Colville, if anybody knows Leicester at all. Unfortunately, we haven't got a permanent site for the museum at the moment. So we are web-based with the open days that we run. We normally have one in November, and one in May. Our next one is actually the 31st of October due to all the commitments to the date we could get. I turned up at this first event anyway, and I got to meet this man with lots of energy, I think is the best way to put him, or his mentor as we also say. Yeah, that's near the mark. And basically just got involved with these guys, and I went that day, I took a couple of my systems to help out a little, and it just got bigger and bigger, my involvement. Every few weeks now we normally meet up. We've got 2 secure units in Old Shilton where we store our systems. When we originally started, Andy had about 40 systems. We now have over 200 different systems, some not including duplicates really. We get lots of donations, as you can imagine. We do buy stuff as well. The oldest thing we have is a magnetic drum, and it's about that size, about that tall, and you can only just about lift it. And that was given to us from ICL, and that's from 1955. It's one of the earliest magnetic drums that is around. It doesn't work, funnily enough. I can't quite think why, but we'll see what we can do. And we have obviously things all the way through all of the decades. Our oldest, most common known is the Atari 2600. I don't know if any of you have seen our 2 rooms today as you first come into the mansion. We have the Odyssey clone that's been made by one of our members. And that's one of the other early ones, and Richard, who makes that one of our members, he's very good electronically, I think, is a polite way to put it. And he's made that for us. He can rescue a lot of systems that a lot of people think are completely dead. He knows a chip just by looking at it. So I don't know how he does it. Right, the website. As I said, we've got the website. We're currently getting, on average, 20 to 30,000 hits a day. So it's slowly built over the last 2 years. In May this year, we launched RCM version 2, which Richard, one of our members, and Andy developed on the work that Andy and Nick already did to make it a lot more colourful, a lot more interactive. It's more one website now. It used to be like the website and the forums were separate, so it looked a bit different when you went to the other one, but now it's all quite streaming, flows together really well. Excuse me. Come back to our events then. I've got a slide out of sync on my notes, sorry about that. As I said, today we've got about 25 systems here, consoles and computers. At our events we normally have at least 50. On top of that, one of our members also rejuvenates, builds, rebuilds, repairs arcade machines. And we have them on display as well. We normally have 5, 6, 4 arcade machines. Again, a different sort of the aspect that we're looking into. We also have raffles. I don't know if anybody has been to, I know a couple of you recognise in the audience have been to some of at least one of our events. We hold raffles where we can give away, with the last one we gave away a Mega Drive and a Master System as the top prizes. We also get people donate us prizes. We have anything from alcohol to a rallying experience as one of the last prizes, which I won, no fix, honest. It wasn't actually. It was, generally wasn't, even though I was drawing them as well. I don't know how I did that. I shouldn't say that, should I?
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah, I'll leave now. No. We have members all around the world, not just in the UK. We have quite a lot in America, quite a following in Germany as well. We have one guy in Australia who's actually coming to the UK next month on business, and he's made sure he's got a day to come and visit us as well to see what we're doing. So we're looking forward to meeting him. He's very active on our forums. He repairs arcade machines. So that's funny enough, Womble. Don't know where his nickname comes from, but he's one of our Australian members. The ideal aim, as we said, is we want to create this computer museum for everybody to come to get a hands on. Like we're doing here today, a hands-on of all of the systems. Yes, they break down from time to time, but we get them repaired. We have spoken to several different schools in the Leicester area just to see what reaction we get. Every school we've spoken to is interested in what we're doing and would like to bring children to come and see what we're doing. I myself, a couple of weeks ago, was trying to explain to my 6-year-old goddaughter about loading games from a tape. You ever tried to explain that to a kid? They can't get their head around it. They turn the DSs on and play them. I said, we have to wait 10 minutes for a game. She goes, how long? 10 minutes for a kid must have been a lifetime, but we put up with it, didn't we? You know, we want to get kids involved. We get lots of kids at our open days. We've seen them here playing some of the systems. To be honest, I haven't got much more to say, I'm afraid. We want this museum, as we've said. Obviously, the big problem we've got at the moment is funding. Anybody millionaires in the room, feel free to throw your money this way. Or anybody knows any good sites. We are looking to be Midland-based. What I will say now is, has anybody got any questions? I can ask Andy and Dave to join me, and I can answer any questions, because they know bits as well. Has anybody got anything they'd like to ask?